You've been watching the news lately?
Not even the news. I saw this on TikTok.
Oh, you're one of those find a headline on TikTok.
I didn't know it was going to happen.
The truth is, though, most things that are like in the news are now on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I do hear about them sometimes on TikTok first and then have to go like...
That's what I'll do. Hear it and then research it. We will put on News 12 a decent amount, but that's local. And then some of the big nationwide, worldwide stuff could be on TikTok. Mm-hmm. So scrolling yesterday, stumble upon this girl talking about these 3 men that were found dead outside their friend's house in his backyard.
Oh, this is in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I did see this.
But it has so many different layers of mystery and questions.
Okay. Inform me.
Apparently they were watching the football game.
Kansas City versus
I don't know who they played.
Miami.
Yeah. And it was super cold in Kansas City. You know, the pictures, even from the
That's
games.
right,
you were saying when they were
at the game, it was below freezing, below 0 degrees Fahrenheit was like the temperature, and then it was like -17 with the wind chill.
Yeah, and you open a beer and it would freeze right away. Was that the game?
And that was all over TikTok. See, my news.
Right. And
all the beers freezing. They would open them and go to sip them, and then they would just be frozen.
Yeah. So apparently this guy who's very much referred to as a scientist. Now, I don't know if the media is just doing this, like making it like the guy who lived in this house was a scientist. He's a scientist. Friends die at scientist's house. Like we were just talking about this at work. Like makes you think like he made some concoction and poisoned them.
I think the reason behind that is drugs were involved and stuff. You think scientists, doctors, pharmacists, like those are the jobs that like you don't say like at a lawyer's house or at a juggler's house. You know, like
right,
there's
but they leave
that doesn't add to the story or leave any bit of mystery. You're like 3 friends die at a juggler's house, and it's like, what was he trying to? Throw them in the air?
No, but is that a media thing now? Apparently, a bunch of guys were there. A bunch of them left, except the homeowner and 3 friends.
Okay.
And 2 days later, the fiance of one of the guys never came home. She snuck into the house and found him dead.
Sorry, you're tying this wrong. The fiance didn't come
fiance
home.
of one of the dead people. I'm sorry, no. The fiance of one of the dead guys.
Okay.
Was like,
she's like,
he was missing.
Yeah, he didn't come home for 2 days.
2 days.
It took her 2 days to get there.
That's the other thing. I don't understand. Or maybe they don't live together, so she couldn't get in touch with him.
And then she thinks she's at work.
So she's like,
and then,
oh, all right. The last place he was watching the football game at this guy's house. So she goes to this scientist's house, breaks in.
Even you're doing it, by the way.
And goes in the backyard and finds her dead fiance. Calls the police, and then they find 2 more dead guys.
And how are they saying right now that they died?
Frozen to death.
So they would just hang out in the backyard.
But also, the guy who lived there didn't know. They apparently didn't know they were dead in his backyard. But 2 cars were left in front of his house.
Like he went to bed and like I guess went to work, came home, whatever, but like never looked in his backyard.
Well,
I'm gonna be honest. If someone was like sitting in the chairs in our backyard, even dead or not dead, if someone's back there for 2 days, I kind of know that someone's in our backyard.
Yes.
Like, you know, just a sixth sense of like, oh, I feel like there's someone else around.
Yeah. Or see, here's the thing, because a lot of people are saying, well, he left his friends' cars were there, so how could he not question where they were? But did someone pick them up? Did they get an Uber and they just never came back to pick their cars up?
But he's not going to text his friends like, hey, your car's still in front of my house?
Yeah, and if they don't answer, maybe he's like, they're busy.
I guess everybody for 2 days, for 3 guys to be missing for 2 days and nobody like...
Yeah, be on it. Like, if you didn't come home on a Sunday night from like darts, let's say.
Okay.
If I couldn't get in touch with you, well, you know me, I'm crazy though. I would call every hospital, call the police, but would the police go looking for you?
No, not for 24 hours, unless you had like a real like, oh my God.
So really, now that we're talking this out, I don't know how crazy it is.
Yeah, but I still think like the family members themselves, like go and investigate it.
True. I also think it's odd that this woman went to the house alone to look for him.
Maybe she went to go to see if his car was still there, and then, hey, his car is there. So she's like, let me go in, maybe thinking like...
He's like passed out.
Or no, but that he had like left there and then came back. And like, you know, it's just to know that he's... I don't know. But then, for her to go into the backyard. But she's like, I'm going to look through the window, see what's going on. And then she's like, oh, Roger.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know his name, but.
Crazy. And then it's like, oh, did they dare themselves to sit out there and like? Who
That's
could
what we talked about for a half second.
Like,
It's like,
then who's gonna really like knock it up and be like, all right,
3 drunk guys. I bet you I can survive in the cold longer than you. Go outside.
Yeah, Theo actually said you actually probably could. He goes, 3 guys that are super drunk pass out and freeze. He's like, yeah.
Their heart rate goes down, down. They fall asleep and then die from hypothermia. You wonder though, is alcohol
Seems
involved?
odd
If
that they
drugs
would
are
all be
involved?
that drunk and
Right.
that all fall asleep at the same time. It
Yeah.
seems a little shady.
I don't know enough about
a little shady,
I don't know enough about drugs and stuff like that
Yeah.
to know like what you're willing to